Today I'm answering a question. Should I invest in an area that has a poor downtown? I'm Tim Diesel, I'm a commercial real estate consultant. Today I want to answer a question that came in that I thought was pretty interesting, and I'd like to get into it a little bit. So, should you invest into an area that has a poor downtown? And I don't think he meant poor as in financially poor. I think he meant poor as in not really happening, not very lively, not a lot going on down there. So the question could always be answered in a different way, but I always say yes, because it doesn't really matter so much about the downtown, because most people, they commute to downtown. They don't live in downtown. So even if you're buying apartments in downtown, most of the time you're not buying Class A property. You're buying Class A location for sure, right? That's where everybody wants to be. But some downtowns, depending on which states you go to, which cities, they're different. In certain downtowns, they are really happening. There's a lot to do there. There's a lot of activity, a lot of action. The age range fluctuates, right? You have 20, 30, 40-year-olds. Other downtowns, it is a ghost town. There is nothing to see. There's nothing to do there. Barely any people. Maybe the financial district where people are going to their banking job or something. That could be something. But most of the time, most people aren't going to live in downtown. Like they work somewhere else and they commute there. They don't like the traffic. Maybe they have pets. They can't take them anywhere. Who knows? It really depends. So don't look at that as an indicator of your property. Now, if it's next to your property, maybe 5, 10, 15 miles, that's one thing. But it's definitely not something that I would look at right away, because a lot of times you're probably not comparing apples to apples. Mostly in downtown, they're buildings, high-rises, buildings, things of that nature. If you're buying an apartment building outside, maybe not in the suburbs, but a little bit outside a little bit, they're still not going to be straight up. They're probably going to be more of a straight rectangular square, a couple floors, not going to have 15, 20 floors on them. And if that is a unique case, then I would say look at that. Probably an older building, because they're not building a lot of new stuff in the 90s and in the 2000s. They're not building them that way. And that should not be an indicator. Now, if people go there a lot and they never go to your neck of the woods, that's definitely something to think about. So when you're thinking about apartments and retail, the population has to support it. When you're thinking about manufacturing, office, warehouse, there doesn't need to be a heavy, dense population going on there. Not a whole lot of people running around there very often, right? That's a little bit different. So you're looking more for the lease strength in industrial than you are in the apartment world, because the lease strength usually is about a year or two. Most people don't sign a 5 or 10 year lease. It just doesn't happen. Retail, well, businesses rely on traffic, right? Traffic flow, depending on where they are. And if it's the kind of thing where maybe they're not as dependent on traffic and they have food, they have catering, well, they still need people to live relatively close, because they're not going to drive 20 miles away to deliver a pizza. They want somewhere around there. So population is very important, depending on what type of investment you're doing. So don't base everything on downtown. That's kind of not a fair way to go. So I hope that answered the question. If you have any more questions on it, please let me know. Thank you.